Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USS. Had a short break, but now we're back with Southampton Seameows versus the Sheffield Dragons. What are you thinking about this matchup?
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it before. I believe we have actually seen both these teams before in previous splits and seasons here at USS, so we know they're heavy hitters. Obviously, they may have had some roster changes between then, but from the past, we know they're strong. And honestly, I'm sure this is going to be another absolute banger of a game. Obviously, most first series games are, as long as the seeding isn't too out of displaced, out of order, but I think it will be perfectly fine, and it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I imagine it will. Both teams, I think, won their first game, but we are going to get a look at the teams in just a second. On the side of Southampton Seameows, it is Kazoo and Mirth on the DPS, Gligger on the tank, and Deadcat and Whimsy on the support line. As for Sheffield Dragons, we have James Kua and Scuffles on the DPS line, Nevery on tank, and Bakey Boy and Grank on the support. So some recognizable names if you're in the UK collegiate scene on both teams here. So we'll be in for a good matchup. This is probably typical kind of Div 1 match. Both teams probably going to be looking to get into that upper division.
Yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts are at. But it'd
Definitely.
be interesting to see what map we go to.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing in just a second. And it is going to be Lijiang Tower, so I don't I don't mind that too much, and I'm kind of unsurprised, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest. Not
it,
really any surprises here.
it's Lee Jong Tower. Everyone loves it. You know it. And like, let's be real. The other maps, we've got either Lee Jong, Antarctic, or Ilios. And if we're being brutally honest, it's only ever going to be between Lee Jong and Ilios. Maybe the occasional Antarctic, but the community just loves Ilios and Lee Jong. It's just a much more competitively viable map in my eyes. So that it doesn't surprise me you're going to see Lee Jong a lot throughout this season.
Yeah, whenever Lijiang's in the map, it's like the King's Row of Control, right?
Yeah.
It's picked so often when it comes to control map picks, but we are going to be seeing what is going to be getting banned by both teams. There's going to be a Tracer ban by Southampton Seameows and a Lucio ban by Sheffield Dragons. So, what are your thoughts on these bans?
Honestly, I think they're quite reasonable bands. Obviously, they got rid of the Tracer. Maybe they know there's a strong Tracer player on Sheffield Dragons. Obviously, a Tracer can be an absolute nightmare for your team, especially a good Tracer. But the Lucio ban, I think it's a good, well-rounded ban, mainly due to obviously the speed which getting in and out of fights is so crucial, especially in this type of environment where it's a lot more coordinated than, say, your average solo queue game. But obviously, B is also still a decent ultimate, so it's still not bad. But I feel like both of these bans are quite safe. Obviously, most first games in a series tend to be just kind of neutral bans, and then afterwards they start becoming a bit more targeted. Once you kind of figure out where the issues lie in their comp against yours.
Yeah, first bans are always kind of like just like feeling your opponent out, seeing what's going on. It's always kind of hard in a first to two, right, best of three situation because you want to ban something of impact, but at the same time you don't actually really know. You don't have much time to figure out like, okay, these guys like playing this, let's ban this out. It actually requires you to kind of know what the other team wants to play. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah, 100%. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from these bans and what hero picks we might see come from these.
I imagine both these teams will probably run the Xion.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
probably.
Xion.
Xion does seem really good on Lijiang so far, from what I've seen. Good
Yeah, I mean
all-round map,
we saw it in the last
previous
game.
match. Yeah,
Match between Chargers Blue and Angry Birds. It was just so prevalent with the shields on this map from both Ham and Cool, Black and Cool Hamrich. But enough about last game. Moving on to now, we're going to be starting off on Legion Control Center this time round. Southampton Seameows versus Sheffield Dragons. This would have been Southampton Seameows pick as they are the higher seed. I believe they are seed 4 versus Sheffield Dragons is seed 13. I will just verify that. Seed 5, sorry, for Southampton Seameows. So bit higher seed, but the lower seed team won the last game, so it doesn't really mean too much at all. But we're going to be seeing what each team is going to be going for, and it is a classic Sig mirror with the Mizuki in there. What do you think of these comps?
honestly, I like the changes about of what we've seen, and I'm all for Sigma Mizuki as we've seen that the combo thrives with the chain and rock, one leading into the other. It's just a lot of heavy CC over and over again. But it's looking like Southampton may go for the Wrecking Ball, which I'm no doubt I've got a strong feeling they're going to regret, especially because there's also a Cassidy on the side of Sheffield. They do go back to Sig. I think that's very sensible to not go with the ball to start with because that CC is going to hurt.
Yep. Neither team sticking with Symmetra either. Scuffles on the Reaper, Kazukid on that Shion. So not quite a mirror, but still get to see one Shion nonetheless. The rock does land onto Nevery from Gligger there, and it's an early pick from Mirth. Nice pick from the Sojourner. She takes that wide angle and does manage to take that Sigma down as Sheffield Dragons. They're just forced back early.
Yeah, instantly taking that, well, the sheer space that he got from taking down the Sigma so early on into that fight, and we saw Sheffield immediately retreated. They know for a fact there's no point in trying to fight this without our front line, so it's safer just to regroup and give them a little bit of percentage and come back swinging.
Absolutely good shield from Gligger there, though. Managed to block the rock from Nevery there. It's Sheffield Dragons. They are trying to get in the door. James Stewart does get the pick onto Mirth, but up for Kazuki. Gets that kill with the motorbike onto Grank. And now it's even Stevens for both teams at the moment, but I'm maybe liking my position more from Southampton Seameows. Being down that Mizuki is not ideal, and the rock again hits that shield from Gligger. Tough situation for the Sheffield Dragons at the moment as they lose their DPS line, and again, Southampton Seameows are just able to hold their ground, stand their ground, and Sheffield Dragons have to back up yet again.
Yeah, going all the way back, I think it's, once again, regrouping and not trying to fight a lost fight, it allows you to save so many resources and prevent any bad staggering. But it'd be interesting to see, because we're now looking at a bit of a different side of Shion gameplay here. Last game we saw mainly frontline play with the team Shion. This one's very heavy on the flank.
Very heavy on the flank indeed, but in the front line, it's not going much better for Sheffield Dragons. This Never gets picked down again by this this Sojourn from Mirth. Grank does get the kill onto his opposite number with the binding chain, but it isn't going to mean too much if you're down your tank, as Nevery maybe makes a bit of a counter swap, goes over to the Reinhardt, but this fight's not really done yet. The Kekai Sanctuary is committed by Grank, but it's not going to help if there's a Reinhardt swinging his hammer. He can't eat the hammer as Nevery gets the kill onto Gligger, and out of nowhere, Sheffield Dragons bite back, and they manage to get the objective. 73% for Southampton Seameow, though.
Yeah, they're finally getting that pick, and this is what I like to see. The swap over to the Reinhardt so crucial. Obviously, Sigma does struggle into Ryan. While we can poke him out, the second that Ryan gets on top of you, it's going to be so difficult to get them off. But also, Mizuki can't really do much into a Reinhardt, as there's the chain. Obviously, Ryan's not a high movement hero, so it's not the fact he struggles against get hit by chain. All they do is pop the shield and just take almost no damage thanks to all that armor. But also the fact the chain can be blocked by said shield.
Yeah, it's such a hard matchup for the Mizuki. Mirth trying to do whatever they can. Not able to get any kills without overclock, though, as the Flux from Gligger does do some damage. The Kekai Sanctuary is there from Dead Cat to just try block that High Noon. Does do a little bit. The Joyride does land onto James Skew as well, as he's taking a bit of an aggressive angle here. Kazuki tries to buy back with the sets. Riku Spree finds one, looking for more. Grank very low, but finds two. Nevery goes down as well. Bakey Boy follows just before. Southampton do get control of the objective again. 80% their way now and ticking.
Yeah, that was, well, obviously we saw Kazuki went in there with a really, really well played. Oh, hold on. No, the chain.
Oh my goodness, the chain.
Mizuki, this is why they're such a strong hero, because they just completely neutralize an entire ultimate just by not allowing them to move.
You can shut them down so easily, but it doesn't even seem to matter because Nevery's just kind of walked forward, just kind of held W in Gligger's face right there and just takes down the Southampton tank.
Yeah, 100%. And Nevery, like I said, Reinhardt does thrive in City. You did see it right then and there. Sig cannot do anything because you're going to for a grasp, but basically, if no one else tries to shoot it, you're just not going to get any value out of it, and the Reinhardt is going to be able to get so many melee hits on you. But we do have Shatter online, so we're looking for a huge play here. Even if it just means securing a singular kill, it will still be worth it from Nevery.
Yeah, it will still be worth it as Whimsy gets us started with that Kitsune Rush, but the Shatter does just neutralize her as Bakey Boy finishes off Gligger, and now it's 2 down for Southampton, and they just have to take a quick reset. Whimsy jumps off the map, and Dead Cat does get taken down by James Skew, and Kazuki is there, sniping from spawn, trying to do any damage that he can, but Sheffield Dragons have the Sanctuary available.
They do, and okay, it seems we're getting a quick Sigma same-day delivery onto the point.
Cat Prime, Jetpack Cat Prime there, manages to get it quickly, and that rock in the back was absolutely vile from Kazuki and Gligger right there, and Gligger has the Flux, might need to use it just to live as Mirth gets the kill onto Scuffles. Grank in major trouble as Whimsy with the flying paws of doom kills Grank in the air. James Skewer does get the pick back with the noon, but it's not going to be enough as Southampton Seameow do take this first point unless Bakey Boy somehow kills everyone on this cat. And that's not going to happen, of course. It's not going to happen.
No, of course not, but honestly, very, very close sub-map for the start of this series, going to perfect overtime. It literally just came down to simple ult usage, and that one-shot combo with the bike and rock, I think, was the deciding factor.
I mean, yeah, Bakey Boy just kind of kind of exploded. To put it bluntly, so much burst damage from Southampton right there. I mean, the off angle from both of them, to be honest. Gligger getting flanked around, getting taken around by Whimsy on the jetpack cat there, and Kazuki maybe from the more traditional angle doing so much. But we're seeing how much Kazuki is doing on the Shion. I mean, the damage is matching his Sojourns pretty much. More eliminations as well. It's so strong. For Kazuki this Shion, but we are going to be on Lijiang 9 marker this time. Shion might be a little bit different to play into the Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt may even struggle more at this point.
Yeah, there's been a lot more open and not as many close quarters angles you can take, so they might just have a bit of an issue with the amount of damage they're going to take from the sidelines. But then again, it's never exactly said and done just because on the map. A good Ryan can play on any map realistically, even at ones they're at a disadvantage on. But it's going to be interesting to see how Southampton get their way back on the point, as Sheffield have already taken it and already start racking up that score.
Yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of that Raincom, right? You can just kind of bunker down on the point, and it's on Southampton to really make the first move, but it feels so scary to make that first move into a Raincom, right?
Well, 100%. You can't make a move. The thing is, weirdly enough, you've forced the Reinhardt to make a move himself. Oh, beautiful rock.
Yeah, incredible rock there. But yeah, like you're saying, yeah, you force the Rein to make a move, and then it feels like you just get ran at. But Gligger trying to take matters into his own hands, trying to do anything he can. Has this rock available again. Grank has to use the Katsushiro return just to try to get some survivability. He does get the pick onto Kazuki, though, and that's not what you want if you're Southampton. Now Never can just get all the help he needs in the front line, swinging at Gligger like it's nobody's business, and the pin does go a little bit wayward, but Mirth just doesn't escape that silver bullet, and the nade from James Skewer managed to get some two, followed up by a lovely little headshot onto Gligger, make that 3 Scuffles wraps up. Kill to Dead Cat. And Sheffield Dragons looking very, very strong on this point.
Yeah, having full control of it from the start, and just the entire time they've been trying to go look for Southampton and trying to find that fight, trying to find that correct angle. They've just been racking up points, and Sheffield just happy to try and survive and not bother forcing a fight. Just make them to try and play into your own hands. But we see Kazu swapping over to the Farah, which is interesting considering Sheffield have an Echo and a Cass, who are very heavily known for their advantage over Farah.
Yeah. The anti-Farah team.
Yeah, the literal anti-Farah embodiment, basically. So it's definitely interesting. Oh, hold on.
Oh, the Suzu from Bakey Boy is just a little bit too early, late. It doesn't matter, it missed. Grank feels the pain as Southampton Seameows. It does take them a Flux, it does take them a Kitsune, but they eventually get onto the point. But it's not for cheap. 91% for Sheffield Dragons. It's just one fight territory for them at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. It's very risky. Southampton can't lose the point now. Otherwise, I can't see what. Maybe they could just barely contest in overtime if they lose the fight quick enough. But it really does come down to, because Sheffield are stacking ults. They've got all 5 in the pocket. Down goes one.
The shout out to Dead Cat is beautiful. Mirth needs to come up absolutely huge here. Looking for anything. James Skewer with the Noon gets that damage resistance, and it's not going to happen for Mirth here, as it's just going to be Gligger on the point, but not long for this world is this Sigma. It needs to be a touch from Kazuki on this Farah, but I mean, James Skewer and Scuffles are just not going to allow that.
No, but time's ticking. 5, 4, 3,
that pick.
2. Yeah, beautiful pick, but there we go. Okay, we're going to sub-map 3. Interesting. I feel Sheffield well, funny enough, we said that Ryan's going to struggle a little bit more. No, he didn't.
Clearly
Ryan
not.
did perfectly fine. Yeah. No, because Ryan literally had that map under control the whole time, even in the fight they lost. But we are seeing that Gligger's gone over to the Orisa as they've kind of finally locked on that. Yeah, maybe Sigma's no longer working. But also the fact Kazoo is looking to go back to the Shion, as I'll be brutally honest, I don't think the Firewall is definitely not going to work, especially against an Echo and a Cass. But Nevri, though...
I don't hate the idea of that, bro. Yeah, going for the Sigma is Nevri. Maybe not feeling like the Reinhardt can do what he did on that point. Maybe too many angles on this point compared to the last. But yeah, the Farah, I get the idea because you just want to like spam down and maybe build your barrage as fast as possible. But the way that Sheffield were playing, they were so split, right? Spear does go a little bit wayward there. Unfortunately, Grank dangerously low. Needs to be careful. So is James Skewer. Needs to be careful. But right now, Sheffield just able to stabilize, but Gligger's been given all the space in the world at the moment. Suzu forced early by Bicky Boy. Mirth needs to be careful as well. Chain does land on Kazuki from Grank, needs to be careful. Uses the Joyride, but isn't even needed to kill James Skewer as Mirth gets us started with that pick onto James Skewer. Bombs do land onto Gligger, but he's just able to shake that off with the healing of Dead Cat and Whimsy. Dead Cat who's now swapped over to that Wu Yang. No Mizuki for the Seameows anymore, as it looks like Southampton maybe just getting control of the early point, but ooh, nice walk from Nevry right there. Gets the pick onto Kazuki, and now Sheffield Dragons are pushing back the Seameows.
Oh, Grant gets caught off guard though. That's a bit of a crucial pick. Still, nobody has any control over this point, so we can still go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, the fight is still going. Eventually, James Skewer finally falls. That's the first time to fall, but Nevry needs to be careful he doesn't get too complacent. Mirth trying to make something happen, and they're just about able to with the help of their Kiriko. Whimsy trying to make some magic happen. The Suzu is there to cleanse that hinder, and this is the longest fight in Overwatch. Oh my goodness, finally the point is capped for Sheffield as James Skewer manages to get that pick and kill onto Whimsy, and Dead Cat, oh my goodness. Pre-patch, that silver bullet probably would have got that Wu Yang. Manages to get out. Yeah, managed to get out by the skin of her teeth, but long fight right there.
That fight went for so long, almost every person in the lobby has their ult. Obviously, Mirth has got the short end of the stick and has not been able to do much in terms of building ult charge, but 9 out of 10 ults for one fight is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, James Skewer, what are you supposed to do in that situation? That was absolutely horrid from from his POV right there. Not able to get that noon off is the Cassidy is Grant is just going to take the reset because the kid kills 2 in the front line, and that's a confident fight for Southampton Seameows.
Yeah, honestly. What could James Skewer do there exactly? Because they're getting ran down. Oh, hold on.
We did get a pause. Quick little pause. Something did happen, but James Skewer, yeah, I mean, from his POV, thank goodness the Observer managed to catch that. Because he was getting ran out of this. I mean, Nevry was trying everything they could to eat all the projectiles, but he had what? It was the Kitsune rush onto him, the Terror Surge on him, and the Tidal Blast. Oh, I think it went onto the Orisa right there. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
Because you're going to get hit by something. If the Javelin doesn't catch up, the spin doesn't push you away, you can't stop a Wu Yang ult without like a shield to prevent
or like
the
Suzu,
actual maybe a Suzu, but Kiriko was nowhere to be seen, and probably had already used the Suzu on one of the other forms of CC. There was so much going on. And things, we get it. Nobody likes getting one-shot by Castle, but it's Castle. Come on, it's like, would you not rather it all that? Yeah, I'm thinking like, I can't put it another way. It's Castle. It's not like Genji Blade where you actually have to think, oh, careful, you might actually get somebody. Castle's just like, oh, he's over there. Just don't look at him. Avoid him. I'll just see that wall. Just go sit behind there for like a couple of seconds.
Just wait it out. It is a good noon from James Skewer though, because Southampton they clearly wanted to start the fight with that Kitsune rush. Right, Whimsy popped it. James Skewer replied in response, so it maybe felt like they had to commit those ults because they're like, we don't want to waste the Kitsune, right?
Yeah, Heinen. Well, it's not a great ult for actually getting picked. It's so good for spacing. It's unreal. Literally, just popping it forces the entire team to basically run and hide or use all their resources to try and take you down or cancel it out. Whereas that's where it makes up for in lack of actual strength.
Yeah, but that Kekai Sentry from Grank there is absolutely incredible. Just absolutely mitigates all the value that Mirth could have found with that overclock. As Sheffield Dragons are just able to push in quite confidently. Kazuki trying to turn the tide though with the spree, manages to help him get one onto Scuffles, but the rest of his team has fallen in the process. This motorbike needs to run everyone over, but no roadkill today as Nevry picks up 3 for Sheffield Dragons as they get recontrol of this objective.
Nevry went kind of crazy there, to be brutally honest, and getting so many picks like that, still keeping the Sigil. We still have Echo Copy as well. There's so much utility ready and waiting on Sheffield compared to Southampton, who popped anything, both DPS, which is all they had at their disposal, with nothing else being super close. Yeah, we do have Kitsune coming from Whimsy at 30%, so it's potentially coming online next fight. But it all depends, do they get picked off beforehand?
Yeah, and the Flux does land onto Mirth, but they're out of range to take any damage. But that's a nice pick from Kazukid onto Scuffles, and now Sheffield Dragons are down 1. Need to be careful as the rock does land onto Gligger as the Kitsune Rush is used by Whimsy, but it's not onto the point and no one's even near it, and Kazukid is caught out all alone. There's no help for him right there, and now Sheffield Dragons, they have a way back into it. Despite getting that first pick, Kazukid is down. down that big source of damage from the shield, trying to race back as quick as he can. James Skewer with the Noon just trying to buy some space, and it does manage to do so. But look at the ults for Southampton. They have that Tidal Blast. They have the Terror Surge. Going to be able to go back in. The Terror Surge is committed. Glicker still has that Terror Surge if he does want to go for it. Sheffield Dragons, they do have that copy still available. Greg goes for the Kekai Sanctuary there, manages to just buy his team some time, and now it's a problem for Southampton Seameows. The ults from them just didn't find any value in it. Greg and I can't even say Greg James Skewer just absolutely tearing Southampton Seameows apart as Sheffield Dragons get first map and Legion Tower.
That was very back and forth for a long time, but after that second point, it gradually started to see that Sheffield had kind of taken control over the game, and they did seem to slowly struggle a little bit. But it's not to say Southampton did not play exceptionally well, obviously winning the first point, but also playing, just having a really good comeback. And in general, overall play, even though they did lose, they were still playing very well in the fights they did win, as they were very one-sided.
Absolutely, yeah, it was a very, very close game overall there for both teams. But Sheffield Dragons just getting the better of the ult fights. I mean, even in that final fight, right, it felt like the Terror Surge and the Tidal Blast, I didn't even see them. Like, they didn't find any value.
I believe the Tidal Blast was used when the High Noon was going around the corner near the edge. I believe it got put onto Orisa, if I had to guess, because I saw Orisa was like kind of the front at the point. So I know it got popped there, but obviously it found no value because they were in the middle or running away, so it was more for survivability. But they didn't really get much value of Terror Surge either, which I know it's not a great ult, but like, you should be able to get something with it. Or at least it's more of a setup ult than an actual team wipe. Like, oh, I pull everybody in, now somebody can clear up after me after I've done some damage.
Yeah. Even then, though, I mean, it is still an ult that you want in those kind of like chaotic fights where everyone's it's just a mess. You know what I mean? It's just everyone's beside each other. You know what I mean? Everyone's just clumped on top of each other. It's probably one of the ults that you do want in those kinds of situations, but doesn't go Southampton's way. But if you're Southampton now, where would you want to go?
Well, it kind of depends, because obviously we've seen both teams like to play Sigma. They do like the overall just kind of pokey playstyle. So if my mind, I feel like we're maybe looking towards another hybrid map, and I don't think we'd go to Iconvold, but maybe Kings Row. I don't, obviously Neon Junction was a bit of an oddball seeing that so early. And obviously Kings Row is the hive mind map. Everyone just goes for that map automatically.
Supposed free thinkers.
Yeah, supposed free thinkers when Kings Row's an option. But then again, they both have similar playstyles, so both very similar layouts in terms of actual map geometry. So I think wouldn't be surprised if we do head to a hybrid map for our next game here.
Yeah, I mean the hybrid maps is is Kings Row, Neon Junction, and Iconvold. That is the map pool, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Icon, Neon Junction, and Kings Row. Those are our options for hybrid.
I mean, I think the hybrid could be decent for Southampton team. It is weird, like you say, though, because both teams wanted to play the same thing, right? Sheffield did flex over to that, what was it? The Reinhardt, of course. Did manage to do a lot of work on that Reinhardt. So clearly, it's kind of similar to the last game, right? Where both teams kind of played something similar, but then a random Reinhardt out of nowhere just did tons of work.
I was really. I think Reinhardt is always people consider obviously technically the worst tank, like one of the worst tanks in the game by like, just because obviously most tanks these days have movement and rely on movement to actually get value, and Ryan is just kind of the idle man with the hammer who can just go in a straight line if he feels like it. But in certain situations, like what we've just seen, Reinhardt is just unstoppable. Like if you don't have a certain answer for it or enough team pressure, Reinhardt can just do whatever in the world they want.
I mean, it's also like the Mizuki effect, right? Because Mizuki, we touched on it last match. Like, Ryan has that good matchup into Mizuki, right? What good is the Kekai Sanctuary when Ryan can just walk in it? You know what I mean? The hammer doesn't get eaten. So it's kind of like...
Shatter doesn't get blocked by it, does it?
No, it's like a defense matrix.
Yeah. It doesn't block that either. So, like, Ryan is the ideal Mizuki counter. Like I said, the chain, if he blocks it, or even if you get hit by it, Ryan isn't going to really care, to be honest. And the Shatter just goes through it, and Ryan just wants to walk into your the Sanctuary. And even if he walks in there, you're kind of forced to leave it, because obviously if you stay there in close quarters, you're going to go down. So it is the ideal counter. So if you think, going to this next match, who do you think our bans are going to be?
I could see a Ryan ban, honestly.
Yeah, I'm seeing a Rhine. I can see the potential. Obviously, it depends on what map we go, but even then, I'd say most hybrid maps Rhine does do pretty good on.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I'm wondering if
it
like
would be
Southampton
interesting.
will ban the Rhine and
Yeah,
just
but
like maybe
banning the
protect the
Rhine would be
Sigma.
good.
Like
Yeah,
ban the
I'd be all
Rhine,
for
protect
that.
the Sigma. Maybe Mizuki ban from
Yeah,
Sheffield, maybe,
or
or
maybe if they
Buyang
want
ban.
if they want to go for a more dive comp, obviously Mizuki could be a great band. Could obviously get rid of the old Kiriko just because Kiriko,
Yeah,
Suzu.
nuke
Um,
Kiriko, get her out of the game.
yeah, honestly, but I'm not too sure who they'd actually ban because like it's like there's options, but I can't say that Sheffield had any particular hero in that game that there was like okay they're causing us a problem. Where said the Reinhardt was a bit of a force of nature that game, so I can't
Hmm.
see the difference in like who was our problem in that game. Should we get rid of them?
It is kind of hard to tell, to be honest. The right part was the biggest problem to me.
Yeah,
That like it
I
just was
understand.
the because like even on what was it new or no what the second point Lijiang Night Market, there we go.
Yes.
um Lijiang Night Market, that Reinhardt was just able to hold down the point. And I mean, Southampton, they couldn't walk. They couldn't go in. Down main, Gligger was just stuck spamming the Reinhardt shield until he died. Like, it was so sad for Southampton. The fight they eventually did win. It took two ults. It took two of the most impactful ults as well, I would argue. It took Flux and Kitsune. So you don't want to be using both of them in a single fight.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't think that's the thing when it comes to dealing with a tank like Ryan. You can't overcommit because Ryan obviously is absurdly bulky, and people really do underestimate just the amount of armor and how much damage that negates. So you don't want to overcommit because Ryan could easily just press or knock you all down and completely turn a fight so easily, especially if you yourself are not running a shield tank.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Shatter feels so, like, it feels OP, to be honest, if you don't have
No,
a shield tank.
if you on paper, Shadow is insane because it's what it's a cone wide effect where if you do not have a shield specifically to block it and you are on the floor, which most heroes are on the floor majority of the time, you're
Yeah.
instantly forced to be stunned and there's nothing you can do about it.
Play like an
So it would be
aerial
interesting.
comp, like Pharmacy, Echo, Juno, Diva.
Yeah,
Only characters that can fly. But we are going to see the map, and it is going to be Watch Point Gibraltar for Southampton Seameows. It does seem, and not the hybrid that we thought it might be.
no, it's not. No, well, obviously, Watchpoint ain't a hybrid to begin with. It's it's an
I mean, like
escort.
it's not hybrid like we thought it would be.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Honestly, I mean, then again, you can still run the obviously Sigma works extremely well, Dive works extremely well. So if I'm thinking, if Southampton have taken Gibraltar, if I could see them wanting to run Dive, so then they've got to decide: do they want to take away the Reinhardt, or do they take away like the Mizuki for the anti-dive?
I mean, I don't think the Reinhardt ban needs to happen anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, not on
Um,
this map. So, okay, Cass and Hazard. Okay, I can understand the Cass. Cass was a nuisance that game, very good or insanely accurate, and obviously the pressure from high noon can be a bit much at times. But take away Hazard, even though we ain't seen him in this series specifically, it's still okay because this is a very good Hazard map, and a good Hazard can basically run the lobby if you're not careful.
yeah, and it does Hazard like he has good matchups a lot of the time. Well, like and like as a Winston, what are you supposed to do against Hazard? Right? He can jump on you, deal 200 damage, and then block out. Like it feels so impossible to
Yeah,
play against Hazard as certain tanks. So I do like that Hazard ban um, from Sheffield, but the cast ban is good because James Heo was doing quite a bit on the caster. There are a lot of fights where he was just coming up with a lot of nice little picks um, on that character. Um, Unfortunately, we will be heading back. Um, gonna be heading back. There was a little lobby area mess in the text chat right there, but we'll be heading in very very soon. But as for comps, I
yeah.
mean, we know what the bands are now. Cass and Hazard. What are you
And
expecting people teams roll out on?
obviously, taking away the Cass is a strong hit scan, very good close to mid range, especially which is what Gibraltar thrives off of. But obviously, insane anti-dive as well. So it does make me think that Southampton are wanting to run some form of dive, maybe a Diva, Winston, Wrecking Ball, something along those lines, which Cass does destroy as, especially early gamers. Fan the Hammer does tear through a tank's health, and then plus with the stun and the hinder, you do kind of get stopped in your tracks. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a bit of dive/poke action.
Yeah, could be seeing that, but we will be seeing what each team is going to be rolling out on Sheffield Dragons, I believe, are the team attacking to start off with. So
So I'm thinking dive or potentially like a Sigma, but first point Gibraltar is like 90% dive oriented in terms of the high ground. But no, we seem to be going for the Melga. But okay, but we have a sim, so they might have struck TP the sim to the high ground. But looking over at Southampton, I do actually really like their comp here. Winston, I find, is weirdly really good for defense on this map, considering you don't normally associate dive heroes with defense, but Winston can hop down and up and down off high ground over and over and can reposition to peel for the team. So it works extremely well, and then obviously you've got the Trace and Freya for the peel and the flank and the flexing. So I quite like Southampton's comp going into their defense.
I like Southampton's comp if it was a mirror or like if they were playing into a
Yeah.
normal comp, but like I
Malga.
am scared for Whimsy here. Like I'm so scared. Like that one gif. I like that is me
Yeah.
right now. As the TP does come out, the nade does land, but Whimsy.
Where are we going?
I think
Oh,
you
hold
missed
on.
the Ana, but who cares? Grant gets the kill onto Dead Cat. Mirth does manage to get the trade back onto Bakey Boy, but any trades are good right now for Sheffield because look how much closer their spawn is. But maybe shouldn't have left that Ana. Grant does get the kill out onto Grant. Or Whimsy gets the kill out onto Grant. As the backline swap does happen, Bakey Boy over to the Kuroko.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're gonna need a Kiriko. If you're playing Malga and they've got an Ana, you kinda need a Kiriko. It's like a given. But interesting to see the Widow. Obviously, Widow does like watch Widow Rotor, but you don't see Widow in this kind of like play here normally. And Widow's much more of a selfish solo queue hero. You never really see it in an actual like 5v5 competitive, organized environment. So this is a bit of a change of pace.
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit of a switch up, but Widowmaker can still have her impact be felt. In Southampton, they are just giving a lot of space to Sheffield Dragons right now. I mean, look how much damage Gligger just took there. No surprise why, but Nevery goes straight in there. The nade does land, but well, I mean, what you're supposed to do is a Wu Yang Ana versus this Malga, right? You're just going to get absolutely pummeled, to say the very least. Gligger trying to do what he can. Grank under so much pressure right now. The care is amazing from Bakey Boy right there. Never mind. Does not manage to survive, but good movement there from Grank to keep him alive as Sheffield Dragons get the first point.
Yeah, there was not much concession there. Like, must have had cooldowns, as realistically, you're going to want to try and jump that to try and contest even just a few more seconds to try and get your team back in the game. But 5 minutes is already an insanely good start for Sheffield, and I do feel Southampton should change up the comp, mainly looking towards Gleiger, as Winston does not do good into Malga.
I think you could maybe just go the Diva here. I don't understand why you wouldn't go Diva. Like,
Yeah.
you can shut down James Skewer, you can shut
Diva.
down Nevery.
Diva is Sigma. Sigma's really good into Malga as well. Either or of those picks is just where you should go, and it's rather than playing what I consider I consider Malga's best matchups. But a nice pulse bomb coming out from Kazukid.
Kazukid lighting up the kill feed, but not matching the car. Scuffles, look at the car for Sheffield Dragons. Like, there's so much room for Sheffield to work now that Southampton, they either need to hold really close and watch a C9 or give all the space in the world. You know what I mean? Like, Scuffles can just go under and force the cart and force someone to drop immediately, but does unfortunately disconnect too much. Pushing the cart there for Scuffles' enjoyment. We will be back in just a second. There was a little bit of a game crash from Scuffles right there. It wasn't a rage quit as his teammate said, but strong start for Sheffield, I feel.
You know, really good showing so far, and obviously they've got it almost all the way to the second checkpoint, which is really weirdly unheard of. As a lot of people, a lot of time get stuck on this second point of Gibraltar, as there's so much high ground control that the defenders have, and it's so difficult to push that. But I just don't think that Southampton have that level of control with the comp they're running, with the Winston not having much presence in this matchup. As like I've said a few times now, Malga Winston's not a good matchup for the Winston, as no doubt. Obviously, Winston's not a tank killer. Winston's a squishy killer. You harass the healers, you harass the DPS that are trying to put pressure, but it's not all too bad. As if obviously we're seeing like the Glare is literally tickling Nevery.
Yeah, there's not much you can really do if you're Gligger versus Maga, but this is the spot where Winston shines. Pressure in that back line forces Greg to Yemsku off the angle there. Has his primal almost ready to go. Nano boost is put onto Gligger, does get a little bit turned around by James Cure right there as the tidal blast does land by Greg, but oh my goodness, just gets absolutely demolished by the Winston right there. Does Greg so much damage does that nano jump do? Manages to get the kill onto James Skewer as well. This Winston's done quite a lot. Helps get the kill onto the Maga there with Kazuki getting the final blow, and Sheffield Dragons are going to be beat back for the time being.
Yeah, they're getting a nice bit of... They're chipping away at the time. This is exactly where they want to be. They need to be in the same position of where they were on the Unjunction to have their best chance to win. But already 2 minutes off the clock, which is a huge amount of time gone. And ultimates are now starting to stack. We do see Nevri decide to go and mirror the Winston.
Clearly not feeling that Maga is finding as much impact as it did on the first point, and it's clearly been proven right as Deadcat does drop quite early to Nevri. Gligger goes for the Primal Rage, hasn't found anything quite yet, maybe just trying to peel his team, but it's not working out too well. Eventually, Mirth does get the kill with the Overclock, but James Skewer responds with the pickback onto his opposite number, and now Sheffield, they do feel like they have the upper hand, but the tank is still up for Southampton at the moment. Pulse Bomb available for Kazukid, could maybe try and look for something. Scuffles trying to force the point for the time being matched by Kazukid. Both Tracers have their recall force, and that's a remarkable sleep. James Skewer, where has that come from? 3 kills with the Overclock. Where did that come from? Just out of nowhere. Does the Sheffield Dragons Sojourn go absolutely crazy as Sheffield Dragons cap the second point on Watchpoint Gibraltar?
I'm just as baffled as you, as James. Where were you in that fight?
Where was he? Where was he? He just kills everyone. I was hyped up by the sleep from who? It was Whimsy. Lands this incredible sleep, and then James Skewer just steals his thunder completely.
Yeah, honestly, it's impressive. Obviously, that sleep was incredible. But James was just popping heads over and over, taking out Deadcat, also taking out Kazukid, just as they were trying to take advantage of that insane sleep that Whimsy had just hit. But there's just not much they can really do in that situation. As well, a soldier note hurts. We all know this. But it'd be interesting to see where they can get value. As Nevri's getting kind of harassed.
Nevri under pressure at the moment is going to be taken out by Mirth as Southampton just stabilised for the time being. But they don't really have any ults for Sheffield's 3 coming up pretty much.
Yeah, it's weirdly looking dire as we do have Primal Rage coming out. We do have Tidal along with Pulse Bomb, so either sending that in on the Tracer or the Winston is going to find so much unbelievable value. And I'm just really curious to see where they go with the combination here, the potential combination. And we do see Primal Rage has now been popped.
Yep, Neverage goes for that Primal Rage. Mirth feeling the pain, does get the kill. Does Neverage, the Tidal Blast explosion kills Whimsy, and now it's dire straits for Southampton. 3v5 at the minute. Kazuki trying to do whatever he can. Recall force. Deadcat surely going to go down here. No way. Scuffles. What a fumble. Deadcat just about manages to live. She gets back into the spawn. Scuffles. How is he alive? Oh my goodness. Just about managed to live. James Curry gets killed onto Kazuki as Gligger comes back with the Primal Rage. Looking for Grank. Trying to get anything done. But hello, the car. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. How?
Oh dear. Oh, Geiger tunnel vision so hard on the Wu Yang, and then saw it. Because, yeah, I could get an amazing pick on the support, but you got to remember you have a team and an objective to defend. You can't leave it alone like that.
Frustration for Southampton right there, because I think they were winning that fight. Maybe it's not all on Gligger there, because there were a couple people around the point from Southampton that could have probably touched and given their life, I won't lie. But it's well played by Sheffield. I mean, James Skewer in particular. I mean, the scoreboard only says he's 7-4. The credit maybe has to go to Nevri, but I mean, every kill he's got, I feel like has been like the fight, the kill that's like won the fight. It feels. No, it's kind of insane.
Useful and important pick, but we are going for. It's like what you mentioned at the start of this game. The Winston pick is much more useful into a mirror, and well, as we can see, the mirror work is working extremely well, and it has been in Nevri's favour since the start of this match. So, and the thing is, I find Winston thrives primarily off this first point due to being able to constantly swap between the high ground and the low ground. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Nevri utilises that.
I think as well you can like controls. There's like the first point is just bigger, right? Because you can obviously jump down and go back to the high ground on the second and third points as well. Third point, maybe a little bit less so has this problem, but second point, you feel kind of boxed in on Winston at times, right? Because you can't really go anywhere. There's multiple high grounds you can go, different areas you can go. You can take advantage of Winston's mobility.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And honestly, I'm all for it. I think it's such. Winston thrives off Gibraltar. I mean, obviously it's Winston's map really, and it makes sense to why it works so well. But what they need to do is try and contest the high ground as much as humanly possible, as long as poking them down from a distance. As we can see, that's what Scuffle is trying to do, and put so much pressure onto Murph here.
Yeah, Murph on the fray and now does land one take aim onto James Skew as to retreat. Scuffles though does get the kill onto Kazuki. Not before he gets the kill onto his Wu Yang though, and it's 2 for 2 trades. And I think Southampton maybe getting the better of Sheffield at the moment because both supports are down. But Gligger maybe getting a little bit too aggressive and he needs to back out. Kara's there from Whimsy on a nice spot on the high ground as Southampton just get a little bit of push forward right now if they actually get on the cart, guys. There we go.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we need. We know they've had some issues with pushing the cart. We've seen this a few times in both series that they've kind of forgotten there's an objective. Obviously, when everything's getting all excited and your blood's pumping, you tend to forget that there is a way to win the game. But
the main thing to win the game.
The main thing to do to win, believe it or not, is the objective. But a nice opening pick from Kazukid.
Yep, Kazukid managing to get a kill onto his opposite number, and that's going to be good for Southampton, making their push a lot easier because now there's not that Tracer presence to mark the cart, but James Stewart evens the score, gets the pick onto Dead Cat, feeling the pain right there, because Kazukid has built the pulse bomb. Honestly, could just look for it onto Nevery here. I wouldn't even hate that. Nevery does manage to get out though, but Mirth, James Stewart again, gets that kill with the railgun shot. This Sojourn doing so much, pumping out so much damage alongside that Wu Yang, of course, so much damage on the side of Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the issue that Southampton are having, is that they don't have that level of damage output in comparison to Sheffield as well. Yeah, Freya has really good damage. If you're getting Grank on the Wu Yang can output a lot, so can the Kiriko, and you don't see an Arnold doing that much level of damage, even with the critical headshot perk, as the headshots are still very weird in terms of how they actually hit. So it's not like every day where they actually hit when they should. So the Wu Yang is more consistent in damage output, and that's why I think Southampton are dying so much in early on and late in these fights.
Absolutely, but Nano Boost onto Gligger here, trying to get anything done, but that wave there from Grant manages to dissuade him just a little bit. Bakey Boy under pressure, manages to get the TP out, but Gligger's not done, gets the Primal Rage, looking for more, finds one, finds two. James Skewer trying to even the score, finds two of his own. It's picks for picks. Gligger and James Skewer, who's the better carry for their team at the moment? Gligger maybe coming out on top at the moment. 3 kills for this Winston. Primal popped on the other side though, Nevery trying to make something happen for Sheffield now. Managing to just hold down the cart, hold this defense. 1 minute left on the clock for Southampton. They're running out of time. Nevery's looking for some kills here. Nate does land from Whimsy, but just about manages to get out. But Dead Cat not so lucky. Gligger does manage to get the kill onto his opposite number though. James Keogh with kill onto his drop shot. Manages to finish Nevery's work, and for the time being, it kind of looks like Southampton are kind of being beaten back. No support from them as they just kind of have to wait.
Yeah, having no support is kind of what's holding them back from actually continuing this push. I mean, Kazukid is ready and waiting with that pulse bomb. Surely they're going to want to go as, in my mind, I think you've got to take out James. Taking out the Soldier is so crucial, especially the overclock is up. But now they pop it, and let's see if they can find any headshots here. Ooh.
No one in the line is like, oh, parkour failure, but it ends up going the way of James Skewer. That's fortunate. Mirth unfortunately falls into the waiting arms of that Sojourn. Completes the jump that time, and it's looking rough for Southampton right now. Push back into their spawn, and there's only 15 seconds left on the clock.
It certainly is. They really need to touch. We need to see Gligger get in there because he takes a nice bit of damage, and they do with the pulse bomb. They still need to find value with this if they don't go down beforehand.
Yeah, looking rough for Southampton at the minute. Mirth under a lot of pressure from Nevery. Grank manages to finish the job, but the Nano Boost is there onto Gligger, pumping out so much damage as the tank for Sheffield Dragons falls. But Grank 2 kills from this Wu Yang. Kitsune rush from Dead Cat. She's trying to make something happen. Grank 3 kills for the Wu Yang. Scuffles gets the kill onto Dead Cat as well, and it's just going to be Gligger left on the point. Mirth might make it back, but not going to be alone. Not going to be enough to do alone from this Sojourn as Sheffield Dragons full hold Southampton and take this series 2-0.
This is what I've been talking about, the incredible strength of being able to use Winston to utilize that incredible high ground, low ground defense rotation over and over. It allows your rest of your team to do what they want if you're knowing that you have the ability to peel them so easily. And I think James knew that better than anyone, as we're going to see this amazing overclock coming in as that headshot. That was beautiful. Do we see the tracer as
Oof!
well? That was dirty. James, God, go wash your hands. That was vile. That was
That was
beautiful, but vile.
that final shot there was absolutely incredible there from James Skewton. Played very well the entire series, but Sheffield Dragons played
Yeah.
incredibly the entire series as a whole. Southampton on Lijiang, they did perform well. They got that first point. Honestly, it feels very. We keep referencing this first match, but this match honestly felt so similar to the last one. Close Lijiang, and then honestly not a very close Neon Junction. Or Neon Junction. Wow, I'm still not a very close
Second game.
Watchpoint Gibraltar. Not a very close second game. Southampton just getting full hold there, not able to break through. I mean, the amount of value in that final fight that Grank was able to get on that Wu Ying, absolutely ludicrous.
This is why we love Wu Yang. The damage that character can do is so underrated. Like you more or less can almost two-shot people at a certain point, and even then you leave them on 1 HP, so you're great finishing, and it's so difficult to avoid the projectiles until you do literally control its movement and where it wants to land, if you can aim with it. But overall, I think that's actually, even though another 2-0 series, still very pleasantly surprised, and Southampton, there's definitely minor room for improvement, small little things that can change, but I definitely could see them easily coming back and even taking out Sheffield Dragons one day in the future.
Absolutely, and yeah, like we've said, it's only the first week, so lots of stuff
Exactly.
can change, a lot of stuff can happen.
It's only one loss in a day. As long as you can learn, as long as you learn from it and adapt and can try and take it to you win your next game, that's what matters.
Absolutely, yeah. But Sheffield Dragons clearly proven that they are quite strong at the moment. Both the lower seeds winning today, so that goes to show you that seeding just isn't everything, and it's the start of dreams for Sheffield Dragons.
You've got to remember the underdogs. You can never disrespect them, especially like end of the day. Everyone plays differently. Everyone plays with their team exactly how they've practiced, and taking that into the actual game and putting it into action is exactly what makes the difference between winning and losing. And it just goes to show some people might be more prepared, some people might be in a better mindset. It's just the little things, but end of the day, it's GG to everyone, and they all played incredibly well.
Yeah, commiserations to Southampton, but well played to Sheffield Dragons. But that is the last game of today, so well played to both teams. But that will be all for USS today. Looking at the credits here today, lead producing was Jotu Cool, and producing today was Nexo Games. Casters, of course, were myself and the Holy Monkey, and observing and lobby adminning was KPJ. So good crew for today for some good, great Overwatch in this first week.